Hello and welcome. This is Dr. Arnessa Bennett. I'm so glad you took a little time out to be here and just listen to what I have to say today. I am going to be talking about this pandemic, and a lot of people realize that they're wanting to do something different in the pandemic. And so some of the women who I've been working with, they are saying they want to reinvent themselves. And I have a book, Your Life Movie. It's a ebook, and one of the chapters talks about reinventing yourself. And this is something that people have done forever. When you look at stars like Tina Turner, Patti LaBelle, Cher, these are women who have decided, I'm going to make sure that I stay relevant. And by staying relevant, sometimes you have to make a few changes. And with us going through this pandemic, this is a wonderful time to do some changing and upgrading. That's the key word that I hear: upgrading, up-leveling. A lot of people are finding that this is a great time for them to do that. Let me have a little sip of coffee. I got my big mug today. It's that kind of day. I have a lot going on my plate, but I'm happy because one thing about working on yourself or working on your surroundings to make them beautiful for you, it keeps your mind focused. And it keeps you focused on things that make you happy. Some of my ladies that I work with, they're saying, sometimes they're not as happy as they have been in the past. And so I tell myself, well, what are you doing? Well, I'm looking at TV and, I'm just sleeping a lot. And so I said, okay, you have to start getting some projects. If you have a couple of projects going, that's going to keep your creativity going. That's going to, let's go back a little bit. What are you doing when you wake up in the morning? That's a key question. I always start my morning with prayer, meditation, and visualization. This will set the pace for my whole day. Sometimes I'm not even aware of how God will guide me to do things or to find things. I can be out because now when you go shopping, you have to be very strategic because you have the mask on, and I'm still wearing my gloves when there's highly populated areas. So you have to really make sure that you go in, get what you have to get, and come on out. But I have been truly blessed that when I go in to get a particular thing, it is there. It's a good price, which I love, and I'm able to get it and get on out of there. So let me just talk to you about some things that some of the ladies were saying that they have been dealing with and why they're wanting to reinvent themselves. They have been evaluating themselves and they find that their lifestyle or their life is not quite what they want. And one lady in particular, she was saying, now that we're spending so much time at home, when I look around my house, it's not a representation of who I am. She was saying, I've been working, I go to work, come home, spend some time with one of the ladies is married, one is not. One of the ladies that is married says, I come home, I deal with my husband, the kids, and by the time I get finished with that, it's time for me to go to sleep, get ready for the next day. Now, the single lady was saying she had been spending so much time out and about that by the time she came home, it was only to, take a bath, go to sleep, get dressed, and start the day again. So both of these ladies, even though they have different lifestyles, they've noticed since they've been in so much during this pandemic that their surroundings are not a representation of themselves. So they've been working on some things to kind of change it. And sometimes it's just a matter of going in, changing some things around. I always shop from my house, from one room to the other. Each room in my house has a theme or a color scheme, but sometimes I can kind of change some things around, and you can shop in your own house. So that's a key, ladies. That's going to take you a long way, especially with a lot of people are saying they can't find things. So and then also be creative and uh, take some flowers and rearrange them. You'll be surprised what you can find on YouTube to give you some ideas. Another one said that they didn't like what they see from day to day. So that could also be your surroundings. Make sure that your surroundings are things that make you happy, uh, that are beautiful things. And you'll be surprised. Like, I love flowers, and they can be silk flowers or they can be real flowers. To me, I get the same enjoyment. As a matter of fact, I really prefer the silk flowers better because right now my voice is sounding funny because of my allergies. But make your have things around you that make you feel good. Another lady said that friendships and people are starting to look questionable in one way or another. Now, this is a great time to assess your relationships. Now, if you had people that were always around you or wanting to call and talk to you on the phone, and now you're not hearing from them, you may need to evaluate that relationship. It may not be the relationship that you thought you had. Okay. Another one said, life is not working the way that they wanted. Not happy with their life and living on purpose. Okay. We all want to have some type of joy that we get out of the bed in the morning and we're just ready to go because we have our purpose that we're a part of. And having a purpose doesn't have to be like a nonprofit organization or that type of thing. It could just be something that brings you, let's see, you're really passionate about it. So what is it that you're passionate about that, you want to maybe do some research or read up on it? Or it could be just taking some time to read. I am just surprised at some of the women who say they haven't read a book in years. Where I am a lifelong learner, now that I'm finished with my PhD, I find myself, I thought, okay, I'm finished with this PhD. I am not going to look at a book. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to write. Just the opposite. I find myself doing more reading and writing, but it's on things that are personal to me. Because like right now, I'm working on my health. I want to make sure that I have the energy and trying to keep from getting the wrinkles and that type of thing. So now I'm doing research on healthy things. Okay. Another lady said they want to make more money at the job that they're doing now, but they know they have to make some changes. Yes, that is so true. When especially if you're in the corporate world, you have to adjust to that environment. A lot of people say, well, they're just going to have to take me like I am, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to say what I got to say. It's all right to do that at home around your family and friends. But when you are in a corporate environment, they have rules and regulations and um, social protocol that you have to adjust to. And if you're not sure about the protocol for that environment, that's the time that you need to read and check up on corporate protocol, because it will give you a heads up on what's expected. Because one of the ladies that I worked with years ago, she was at a job she kept having to train other people to be over her. Now, that right there is enough to make you wonder, okay, what is it that I'm not doing? So, what she did is she came to me, she said, Arnessa, I find myself in this position, but they bring other people in, have me training them so that they could be over me. And she said, I just cannot understand. So I said, okay, what is the dress code? Well, most of the managers, they usually wear suits or they wear a blazer or dress. They dress up. I said, what about their makeup and hair? Oh, yeah, they wear makeup and they do, I said, they're dressing for how they want to be addressed. They're dressing for the job that they want. I said, what you're going to have to do is reevaluate how you're presenting yourself. And she said, I had never thought of that. She said, because I know I'm smart. I know I can do the job. So all I was thinking about is, I'm smart. I can do this. I said, yeah, you have it in here, but you have to fit with that culture. So we went and we did I went through her closet. We did some reevaluating on her closet. And everything that she was spending her money on was like casual stuff, khakis, you know, pullover shirts, but they were not kind of dressy pullover shirts. But anyway, to make a long story short, everything in her closet was like more of what a laborer would wear. And so that's how they were looking at her. They weren't looking at her as a potential management person. They were looking at her like a laborer. So we got together and we did some things to kind of change her image, and we kind of did a different hairstyle. She started experimenting with wigs. And you know what? We were able to get her a basic wardrobe for just a little over $100, because what we did, she was small, so of course she was able to get a lot of things that were on sale that fit her to a T. And so when we got finished, now that was just her basic, that was just her starter. And so once she got the basic, she was able to add on to what she had already built. And it made it so easy, because what she could do is add a blazer, add a pair of pumps, add a sweater, add a skirt. It was just amazing. And even if she bought a suit, she could interchange it with other pieces so it wouldn't look like matchy a suit. And she was surprised because her boss came to her and said, I see some changes in you. And she says, yeah, she says, I'm ready for management. She said, I thought because of how smart I was that, you would just know. She said, well, no, not until you let me know that you're wanting to be in management. And now you're showing me with how you're changing your image. She says, we're going to see about making that happen. You will just be surprised. Sometimes you just have to open your mouth and let people know what you want. And so now this has been years, and she has done very well. Another lady said that she was ready for a mate. Now, let me tell you, ladies, it's not just about the wedding. It is about having a different life and sharing everything with your significant other and future husband. Now, if you're not one that's ready to share, and I mean share, you might need to rethink about the marriage. Because a lot of people, they just, he's a nice guy, he has a good job, and da 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 da. But is this someone that you're ready to spend the rest of your life with? So I have a little thing that I do. It's a questionnaire. And when they get finished with that questionnaire, They're like, oh, Arnessa, I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for this. But you have to know, it's not like when you're talking about getting married, it's not like just dating someone. Because when you're dating someone, you're just gonna show your best. We're always putting our best foot forward. But when you're getting married, it's like they said, the honeymoon. Now, I am blessed where my husband and I, we've been married to be 12 years in January, but we still try to live in that honeymoon phase of life. Now, a lot of people, when they say the honeymoon is over, that means that they're not doing what they did to get the person at the beginning. So, one thing I could truly say is my husband and I, we at times we'll say, well, how's everything going? What is it that I can do that I haven't been doing? What is it that I can do better? And sometimes it's like, everything's going good. Let's keep going how we're going. And then it could be like, well, let's do this different. Okay. Like my husband likes to go. Everybody thinks that it's me that always likes to go. It's my husband. Sometimes I could be content with just being at the house, especially during this pandemic. But he'll say, girl, come on, let's ride. And so that means, okay, let me get dressed, because if we see anybody, I don't, even with the mask on, I am just surprised how people know who I am with a mask on. So, I want to make sure that I look the way that I like to look, which is a girly girl. That's just who I am. But yeah, you getting married. If you want to get married, call me or email me. My information, you can always find me on Instagram. I'm not on YouTube too much. Most of that is just stuff from church, but Instagram, DM me, and I'll be glad to work with you. Okay, then I have some ladies who they're ready to do some weight loss. And so look, I'm part of that group. It's a part of my life. I guess I'm always trying to be my best. So that's always something that I do. I'm always constantly every day working on my weight, making sure that I stay in a healthy state because I like to eat. But I'm doing something now that's a little different where it has kind of taken away my appetite. Praise God, because I really needed that help. But I'm doing some things different, and I'm going to be talking about that on one show that's going to be strictly, what I'm doing. Because now that I'm in my 60s, I'll be 61 November 17th. So for the rest of this, each 10-year period, I always work on something, and this 10-year period is going to be my weight, working on my weight, I don't want to lose it really fast because I don't want things to look crazy. Because when people do drastic weight loss, you can tell it in their face because they start looking sunk in, and I don't want any of that to happen. But yeah, weight loss is another way that people can reinvent themselves, because once they start losing the weight, they start feeling good about themselves, and then it's time for a new wardrobe. But I have some secrets to how you can transition while while you're losing weight and still have a nice wardrobe. So get in touch with me. Uh, some people want to live a more authentic lifestyle for themselves. Now, sometimes it's kind of hard when we're around our family members because they still see us as that little cute girl with the pigtails, and here you are in your 30s and 40s, and they're still looking at you or treating you like you're that little girl. And sometimes you have to set boundaries. And so part of that reinventing is setting boundaries, letting people know you're not that little girl anymore, you're a grown woman. And so they have to treat you accordingly. And you have to, you individually have to set boundaries because people want to ask you questions, and sometimes because you're a family member, they think you're supposed to tell them everything, and a lot of times it's none of their business. It just amazes me some of the questions people will ask you, and you just have to say either that's none of your business. If you don't want to be rude, just say, I, I'm not going to tell you that. So boundaries are very important. A lot of people, like myself, they want to be more healthy, and healthy. Going through this pandemic, I mean, everything. You talk about some research. I've really been doing research on what is the best thing to prevent, and then also your immune system. It's all about your immune system. Whatever you can do to keep your immune system going and at high, like it's a high energy or high level, take something for that immune system. And then also, this is one, a death of a spouse or a divorce. I've had several ladies that, I mean, it's like here lately during this pandemic, I'm hearing about so many people, either they've lost a spouse or they're getting a divorce. Why would you want to get a divorce during a pandemic? But I am just hearing about so many people. It's almost like they got married, they start spending more time with their spouse, and now they realize that I don't know if I want to be with this person. And they're talking about divorce, or they're wanting to get a divorce. So this is a time to really sit down, be quiet, evaluate your life, pray, ask for God's wisdom. And this is I've named several categories, but you just need to ask for God's guidance to help you transition through this pandemic, because it seems like we're going to be in this for a while. So you want to make it the best, even in the bad times. You can still have a good life, but you have to put God first, and you have to make sure that you are being authentic, but you have to make sure that you're letting God lead you, because He'll lead you to something that is way better than what you ever thought. So I hope you have enjoyed this. Please leave your comments. If there's something else that you want me to cover, we have some great shows that are coming up. And then also, I am doing a show with a wonderful young lady. Her name is Esther Santos, and we're going to be doing a new show called Queen to Queen. Esther and I have so much alike. She's a minister. She's married to a minister. She's a girly girl. She's into beautiful things. She's a coach. It's like when we started talking to each other, our lives were so much the same. We do so much of the same stuff. It's going to be a great show that we're going to be doing together, and we're just going to be telling it like it is. We're going to be telling you about our lifestyle, the things we like, and just stay tuned, because I'll also be playing the show on my show, and then on my YouTube station, and she's going to also be showing it on hers until we decide if we want to have a YouTube station just for that particular show. But we got some great content coming, and so you're really going to enjoy it. So also, please subscribe, please like this, and this kind of will get us where we can, when you hit, it'll be easier to find us. But be blessed and live your dreams.